Welcome back to my series where I'm trying to get 1 million Robux, no matter how long it takes. In the last episode, I actually made and released the game, but it ended up failing pretty badly. It had a bunch of bugs and nobody really wanted to play it, but I'm not going to give up. This time, I have a brand new plan. I was scrolling through YouTube the other day and I kept seeing all these videos of people talking about how much money they make from Roblox. They always make it seem like the easiest thing in the world. When I looked closer, I saw that most of these guys are just making simple incremental games. Games where you just click buttons to make numbers go up. The amount of Robux they were getting from these simple games was actually crazy. So, I wanted to see for myself if it really is that easy, or if they are just hyping it up. So I started playing one of these games to see what the hype was about. It was actually surprisingly fun to play. That got me thinking, what if I made one of these games, but instead of buying random characters, you buy streamers? I did a quick search and I was surprised that nobody has made a big game with this team yet. It felt like a really good idea, so I opened up Roblox Studio and got to work right away. The very first thing I needed to do was make the button you step on to buy your first streamer. Getting the button to actually work and spawn the character was pretty easy, but I wanted the game to feel good to play. The game I played earlier had really satisfying sound effects, so I went into the toolbox and found some cool sounds. Then I added some visual effects that pop up when you use the button, which the other game didn't have. In the video, you just see this change happen in a few seconds, but this actually took me over 2 hours to code, and I thought it was only going to take me 30 minutes. So, now the button looked nice, but it didn't actually give you anything or cost any money. I needed to make the currency system and the UI for it. At first, I was just going to call the currency cash, but since this is a streamer game, I realized subscribers and views made way more sense. I made the UI at the bottom left of the screen to show how many views and subscribers you have. I also made it so the button has text above it, showing exactly how much it costs before you even use it. My goal for this video was to finish the entire game in just 1 week. So far, things were going smoothly, but making games always takes longer than you think it will. I wanted to add a global leaderboard so players could compete to see who has the most subscribers. Instead of spending hours making a leaderboard from scratch, I remembered I already made one for my last game. So I just copied the script, pasted it into this game, and it worked instantly. The main parts of the game were working, but I still had a massive list of things to add. If I wanted this to be a real game, I needed to make boosts, rebirths, quests, a tutorial, and a big upgrade tree. It sounded like a lot of work, but I figured it wouldn't be too hard to code. But then I realized something. If I want people to actually play this game and enjoy it, they can't just run around on a grey base plate. I needed a real map. But the problem is that I am terrible at building. So I went into the toolbox and got a cool asset pack to help me put something together. Yeah, this map looks pretty bad. It's not finished yet, so let's pretend that it looks good for now and go back to the coding part. I started by making a simple tutorial. I made it so the tutorial also acts as a list of tasks for players to complete, so they know what to do. The game I played had some absolutely crazy scaling. I just started the game and it already wanted me to get 5 trillion to progress. I didn't want my players to get bored and quit, so I decided to make the start of my game way easier and more rewarding. After that, I decided to add the rebirth system. The other game had a rebirth stand you had to walk up to, but I decided to just use a button on the screen instead, since I thought it would be way easier for players to understand. I finished the rebirth system and added some cool sound effects and screen flashes, so it feels really rewarding when you do it. I set the requirements for the very first rebirth to just 1000 views and 500 subscribers. That way, players can get their first rebirth really quickly. But while I was testing this, I remembered another feature. I completely forgot about the prestige system. Prestiges are basically just rebirths, but much harder to get. I decided to make it so for your first prestige, you will need 1 million views and 100,000 subscribers. When you finally prestige, you get a silver play button. I built a glass display case where all your play buttons will go. Plus, these play buttons aren't just for decoration, they actually give your streamers a permanent boost to help you get views even faster. Aside from the ugly map, the game was actually looking pretty good. I felt like nothing else could go wrong, and I only had a few more things left to add. I knew the upgrade tree was going to be the hardest thing to make, so I decided to save it for the very end. Instead, I started improving the objectives. I made it so every time you complete the objective, the a nice animation plays on your screen, and a new objective takes its place. I'm sure players will love this because it means they always have a goal to work towards. I also made a simple boost. I also made the rebirths and prestiges give you multiplayer to speed things up. But right when I was about to start coding that upgrade tree, I looked at my game and realized a massive problem. The only streamer I actually had in the game was iShowSprint. Having just one streamer in the whole game is boring. So I spent some time adding a bunch of new ones, like Jinx, QXZ, Noon, Sneaky, and G-Man. Now we actually had a decent amount of streamers. Okay, so now I had plenty of streamers for players to unlock, but the game still felt like it was missing something, which was the upgrade tree. You know what, who even cares about an upgrade tree anyways? That's just a lazy excuse because I didn't want to code it. So instead of spending hours trying to make that complicated upgrade tree, I decided to just skip it and start putting game passes into the game so I can actually make some Robux. I added some game passes like 2x views, 2x subscribers, 2x rebirths, and 2x prestige. I also made it so you can buy instant unlocks for the silver, gold, and diamond play buttons. And I even added a special play button that you can only get with Robux. With all of these things done, the game was finally ready to be played. The thing is, the whole process only took me 3 days instead of the full 7 days I had planned. Finishing a game that fast might actually be a bad sign. Yes, it was, because I barely added any content. But I'm still really excited to see if anyone actually plays it. I would really appreciate it if you guys could go check out the game, play it for a bit, and let me know in the comments what I should add or fix next. I hope you guys enjoyed this longer video, and I will see you in the next episode of trying to get to 1 million Robux, no matter how long it takes. And thanks a lot for 91 views on the last video, I really appreciate it. That's huge for me.